Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to another Stellar Guitarist guitar tutorial. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to play Sweet Home Alabama on the guitar. In this lesson, I'm going to go through step by step teaching you the chords, the strumming pattern, and we're also going to learn that amazing guitar riff that we hear throughout the entire song. So go and grab your guitar and let's jump into the tutorial today. So let's start off by looking at the chords. Now the great thing about this song is that we only really are going to need 3 chords for the majority of the song. So the first chord we're going to need is a D major chord. The next chord we need is a C add 9 chord. So what we can do is keep our ring finger down, put our pinky into the 3rd fret on the high E string, and then our 1st and 2nd fingers will go on the D and A string in the 2nd and 3rd frets. And we're going to strum from the A string down. And this is our C add 9 chord. And the last chord we're going to need is a G major chord, which we can play with 4 fingers. Now there is also another chord we're going to need in the song that is an F major chord. Now for this F major chord, I'm going to play an open chord version. Of course, you can play the bar chord if you would like to, but I'm going to play just a normal F with 3 fingers. We're going to take our 1st finger to bar the B and E string, and then our 2nd and 3rd fingers are going to come down onto the G and D strings. And from here, we are then going to be moving to a C chord. A normal, straightforward C major. From an F to a C. And you're going to see where that comes in later on in the song. So we're going to start out by learning the most simplified way that we can play the song. We're going to be looking at the chord sequence that we use. We're going to be starting on a D for 2 down strums. We're going to have a C add 9 for 2 down strums. And we're going to have the G for 4 down strums. And you can actually get away with playing pretty much the entire song just like that. So we have 2 strums on D, 1, 2, 2 strums on C, 1, 2, and 4 strums on G. And we're just going to loop it. 2 strums, 2 strums, and 4 strums. And we're going to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go again. 1, 2, to the C, and to the G. And we can even add some singing here to give it some context. So starting on that D, and big wheels keep on turning, carry me home to see my kin. So if you are just starting out on your guitar journey, then you should definitely spend some time here practicing those single down strums, working on those chord changes before moving on to the next level of today's strumming pattern. Now, if you are enjoying my tutorial here on YouTube, please could I ask you to like this video and to subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out in being able to make lessons just like this one for you every single week. You can also click the link below this video to download some of my free PDFs or to even sign up for my amazing guitar program, the Stellar Academy. I really hope to welcome you into the course. Right, let's get back into today's tutorial. So we're going to take the strumming pattern one step further by adding in a bass string for each of the chords. So let's establish which strings we need to pick for each chord. When we're playing the D major chord, we're going to want to pick the D string or the 4th string. When we are playing the C chord, we're going to want to pick the 5th string or the A string. And when we're playing the G, we're going to be playing the 6th string, also known as the E string. And we're going to want to play each of those strings twice. So we're going to play for the D twice on that 4th string, 1 and then we're going to strum through with a down strum. We're then going to go to the C and we're going to play the exact same thing, 2 rounds on the bass string and a strum. And then when we get to the G, we're going to do that twice. And repeats. So it will sound like this in total. Bass, bass, strum to C, bass, bass, strum to G, bass, bass, strum, repeats, bass, bass, strum, D to the C and the G, repeat the G. So you might find that you are hitting the wrong string, and that is completely okay. This pick strum technique is going to take months, maybe even years to get right when you are a beginner. So make sure you're having fun with it and be kind to yourself and patient. The more practice you put in, you will one day find that you don't even need to look when you are executing this technique. And to take things even further with the strumming pattern, we're going to add in a quick down up at the end of each of the chords. So the pattern is going to be bass, bass, down, down, up. So we'll have bass, bass, down, down, up. Bass, bass, down, down, up. And that down up is a little flick of the wrist, not a big movement at all, and you're only wanting to catch the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings when you're doing that down up at the end. So it will sound like this. Starting on that D, twice on the bass string, down, down, up. That's the little flick that you're going to do. Then to the C, we'll do bass, bass, down, down, up. And then to the G, the same thing. Bass, bass, down, down, up, repeat. So let's try that from the beginning, starting on the D. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Bass, bass, down, down, up, bass, bass, down, down, up, bass, bass, down, down, up, repeat. D, C, and G. G again. So now that you know the chords and the strumming pattern from beginner to more advanced, it's time to learn the most prominent riffs and licks that we hear coming through in the song. And to do that, we're going to go in for a close-up. So the first riff that we're going to look at is the one that we hear being played on the D and that C add 9 chord. Now, if you are going to learn anything today, this is the riff that I would say you should try to learn because it is so iconic and it screams Sweet Home Alabama. So it sounds like this. So what am I doing in this riff? First off, we're going to start on that D and we're going to pick the bass string twice, followed up by the 2nd and 3rd string. So we have the D string, then we have the B string and the G string, or the 2nd and the 3rd string. Next up, we're going to move over to the C add 9 chord, and we're going to pick the bass string twice, also followed up by that 2nd string and 3rd string. And for now, the G remains the same that we learned with the strumming pattern. Bass, bass, strum. Bass, bass, strum. So nice and slowly, let's put it together. It's going to sound like this. Starting on the D. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Bass, 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 strum. Bass, bass, strum. Back to the D. And strum. Okay, so once you have that sounding nice and smooth, I'm going to be showing you a few ways that we can jazz up that G chord at the end of each of those chord sequences. Now, there are multiple ways and variations that this can be done, and all you need to do is go and listen to the song and you will see exactly what I mean. But for this lesson, it's just going to help you lay a strong foundation. So we're going to play the most prominent licks and riffs that we hear in Sweet Home Alabama. So the first riff that we play on the G chord is going to sound like this. So for context, let me show you how it sounds inside that entire chord sequence. So we're going to be learning that back end of the chord sequence where that G comes in. So like we usually would, we'll play 2 bass notes on the G, followed by a strum. And instead of doing that again, we're going to actually add in a riff here. So we're going to play an open A string. We're going to hammer on our first finger into the 2nd fret. Next up, we go onto the D string, which will be an open, followed up with our first finger in the 2nd fret, back to an open string, and this will be a pull-off. So in essence, you're only really playing that first D string, and the rest is a hammer-on and a pull-off. And then you're going to put your 2nd finger into the 3rd fret on the A string. So from the start of that guitar lick, so if we put it all together from the start, then the second time that we play the G chord, the riff can also change, and it's going to sound like this. In context, so what we're going to be doing here is using our first finger for the entire riff, just to keep things simple. We're going to put our first finger onto the G string, and we're going to pluck to a pull-off. Then we're going to play our D string open. We're going to go into the 4th fret. We're going to play into a pull-off, back to the D string, and then the 5th fret, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to play to a pull-off. And if you don't want to play the pull-offs, so we put it together one more time from the start. And then the final one that I'm going to show you today, which is super fun to play as well, especially when we're in the chorus, over the lyrics, the skies are blue, we are going to be playing something that sounds like this. So that's got a real country twang to it. So what we're going to be doing here is we're not going to be playing a G chord first. We're going to completely skip that out and go straight into the riff. So from the D, we're going to play what we are used to playing by now, to the C, straight into our riff, which is going to be an open string on the D, into a hammer-on, 2nd fret, and then to an open G string. Now that is the main part of the riff that gets played over and over again. We actually do it 5 times. So we do it once, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you don't want to do the hammer-ons, okay, so it's up to you to choose which way you'd like to play that specific riff. So let's put all those sections together in a slow playthrough. The tabs are going to be up on the screen for you to follow along with. So this is how you could potentially put it together if you were to play along with the track. A 1, 2, 3, 4. And then finally we have that F chord, which is going to rear its head in that last line of the chorus, and as well as in the first line of verse 3. So in total it's going to sound like this, from the D to the C to the G, and then we're going to strum F, and then a quick change to the C major chord. And then it leads us right back into that D to C to G chord sequence. So now you can take these riffs that I've shown you and feel free to mix them in any order that you like. The song is so amazing for you to add your own flair and interpretation. Of course, there are other licks that you hear in the song, but for the purpose of this lesson and to provide you with some structure to learning the song properly, I've only shown you the ones that I believe are the easiest to play and that are heard the most often. Now, the last thing that we're going to do today is learn something super, super fun. It's the guitar solo that we hear that comes in between verse 1 and verse 2. So that section sounds something like this. So let's go through each section together. We're going to start with our first finger in the 7th fret on our A string, and we're going to hammer on to the 8th and hammer on to the 9th. So we play 7, hammer on, hammer on. So you've got to do it quite quickly to make sure that the sound actually rings through. And then we're going to take that first finger and we're going to bar it down onto the 4th and 3rd strings, and we're going to strum those 2 strings together, and we play it twice. And then we're going to put that 3rd finger back down onto the 9th fret on the A string. The next bar is we're going to move into the 5th fret with our first finger on the A string, and we're going to hammer on to 7 with the 3rd finger. And again, we're going to bar in the 5th fret before going back with our 3rd finger onto the A string in the 7th fret. So up to there, if we take it from the start, 7, 8, 9, 5, 7. We're then going to have an open A string, hammer on 1, hammer on 2. And then 2 open string on the G. And then we can take our 2nd finger into the 3rd fret on the low E string. So if we put that whole thing together, a 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So now that you've learned all the sections of this really cool song, all that is left to do now is join me in the next section of this lesson for a mini playthrough. So get ready and let's go. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed the lesson. It was seriously a really fun one for me to teach. I hope to see you in next week's lesson. Until then, have a really great day. Bye.